Good evening and welcome to the Mill Creek Township School District Special Personnel Committee and Special Board Meeting for Monday, October the 6th, 2025. While we encourage the public to attend in person, all meetings will be streamed live on YouTube and will be recorded for future viewing purposes. You can also view this evening's agendas as well as several additional informational items on our website, www.mtsd.org. In addition, please visit us and like us on our Facebook page, Mill Creek Township School District. During this evening's Special Personnel Committee meeting, the board will provide the opportunity for Mill Creek Township residents and taxpayers to ask questions pertaining to the item listed on this evening's agenda. The same protocols apply to all individuals who wish to address the board. Before asking a question, please proceed to the podium, state your name, indicate which agenda item you're asking about. To provide all of our visitors an opportunity to ask questions, each resident taxpayer will be allotted 5 minutes to ask your question or questions. We will review this at the appropriate time during the committee meeting. If you do not have any questions but wish to share comments or a statement, we invite you to attend and participate in this evening's board meeting, which will be held immediately following the Personnel Committee meeting. This provides the opportunity for the Mill Creek Township residents and taxpayers to make comments regarding the matters related to the programs, services, and operations of the Mill Creek Township School District. If you would like to make comments this evening, please complete the visitor request to speak form located in the back of the room. Details can be found on the website with each of the meeting announcements. Those forms will ask you for your name, your address to confirm you're a resident or taxpayer in Mill Creek Township, and your topics for discussion. Again, the committee meeting this evening will provide the public an opportunity to ask questions concerning an item on committee meetings agenda. Thank you for cooperation. We appreciate your input and your feedback. So with that, we'll start the Special Personnel Committee meeting. Can I roll call, Ms. O'Connell?
Mr. Brink?
Here.
Mr. Dean?
Here.
Ms. Philbeck?
Here.
Mr. Kobilka?
Here.
Mr. Lindner?
Present.
Ms. Newsham?
Here.
It's just the committee.
Oh,
So if we could start over. So we're just to take roll call of the committee.
all right.
No problem.
Sorry about that. Mr. Dean?
Still here.
Mr. Brink?
Here.
Mr. Kobilka?
Now I'm present.
Okay, thank you. And I'll be running the Personnel Committee meeting this evening. Thank you. Approval of the agenda 1.02. Can I have the approval of this evening's Special Personnel Committee meeting? Can I have approval? Can I have a motion for that from the committee?
Motion.
Can I have a second? Any discussion from the committee? All in favor from the committee, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, against nay, we'll move on. Item 2.01, Board President Statement. We wanted to take a few moments to speak about the recent news concerning the former superintendent, Ian Roberts. Like many of you, we were appalled at the discovery of the numerous lies and fraudulent documentation. The Mill Creek community as a whole has been betrayed, and we are infuriated at this deception. We know this news has raised many questions and concerns by all of you. Please know that we are actively working to identify how this deception was possible and to receive justice for our community through any means our solicitors find acceptable. Our focus remains firmly on keeping our schools safe, supportive, and focused on the education and well-being of every student. Our teachers, staff, and administrators continue their important work each day, and the board is committed to supporting them fully as we navigate this situation. It has been 10 days since the news broke, and during those 10 days, the events of the past have been reviewed, discussed, and verified. And we are here tonight to discuss our next steps moving forward. As referenced in the September 29th, 2025 statement that was shared with the Mill Creek community, here are the facts of the events as they have occurred. 1, Ian Roberts served as superintendent of the Mill Creek Township School District from August the 13th, 2020 through June the 30th, 2023. Ian Roberts was hired following a vetting and search process conducted by Ray & Associates Incorporated, a national education executive leadership search firm that was hired by the school board at the time to find the highest quality candidates in the nation, with a contracted agreement for the firm to thoroughly vet the top candidates. 3, the school district received all required clearances, including an FBI background check prior to Ian Roberts serving as superintendent. That background check was evaluated within the parameters allowed under state and local law. No disqualifying events were identified. There is also no indication of any criminal activity which the district could lawfully consider as part of the hiring process. Ian Roberts was authorized by the Pennsylvania Department of Education to serve as superintendent through the issuance of the Commission of Qualification. This was received by the district on July the 30th, 2020. Prior to the beginning his employment with the school district, Ian Roberts completed and submitted the I-9 employment eligibility verification form and supplied both a driver's license and a social security card to support his employment eligibility. The school district never received any information or notification regarding the expiration of Ian Roberts' work authorization as it has been reported in the media. Regarding the events moving forward, the board is here this evening to discuss proactive steps to hold accountable the individuals who misled us as follows. The district has directed our solicitors to contact the appropriate government authorities and to provide them with the documents Ian Roberts supplied to the district for employment verification, as we now believe them to be either fabricated or false. It is our hope that these steps will ensure that those who intentionally misled the district or were complacent with the omission of the facts are held accountable. That has taken place already. Together with our solicitors, we are actively evaluating whether the district has any claims against Roberts as a result of his fraudulent misrepresentations, and if so, to aggressively pursue them. We are actively evaluating potential litigation against a search firm of Ray and Associates. This firm was hired through contract to provide services relating to the recruitment of the superintendent candidates, specifically including to, quote, provide the board with criminal, civil litigation, social security, motor vehicle record checks, and verification of educational degrees for the top 2 to 3 candidates. This clause of their agreement was clearly not upheld. The potential litigation will be discussed later during the special personnel committee and subsequent board meeting later this evening. It is crucial to understand that this situation is not an isolated situation confined to the Mill Creek, excuse me. It is crucial to understand that this situation is not an isolated incident confined to the Mill Creek Township School District. Ian Roberts betrayed the trust of so many organizations, and although his tenure here has concluded, the effects are still felt. While a few of us were targets of that deception, the board convened here this evening is not the same body that made the decision to appoint Ian Roberts. Moving forward, it is essential that we work together to address these challenges and continue progress. As much as we are able to, we will communicate openly with our community and work together to ensure our schools remain a place where students can thrive. Thank you for standing with us and we move through this challenging time together. Your support means so much, and together we will continue to focus on what matters most, the success and safety of our students. Thank you. Moving on to item 3.01, legal action against Ray and Associates. Personnel Committee will be discussing, looking to move to the board meeting to direct its solicitors to pursue legal action against Ray and Associates in relation to the services under an agreement for the superintendent search services to the Mill Creek Township School District entered into on or about March the 3rd, 2020. Again, this action is to move it to the board meeting for action. So with that, can I have a motion to accept 3.01?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. I'll turn it over to our solicitor, Attorney Erthing.
Good evening. So the board is evaluating whether there are potential legal actions. And we are talking specifically about the contract we have with Ray and Associates. If we look at paragraph 18 of the agreement with Ray and Associates, they contracted to provide the board with criminal, civil litigation, social security, motor vehicle record checks, and verification of educational degrees for the top 2 to 3 candidates at no additional fee. In reviewing the records, we see no evidence that Ray and Associates provided the district with any information about criminal background. That was done through an FBI background check under Section 111 of the Pennsylvania Public School Code. And there's no evidence that they took any action to verify the education degree as Mr. Roberts represented it at the time. So we are looking at potential breach of contract, fraudulent misrepresentation, or fraud in the inducement claims against them.
Board.
Dr. Jablonski, what is our responsibility before Ian Roberts got hired? What is our process that everybody is required to do that gets hired?
So our process is once an individual is hired, a little different in this process in that the selection was done prior to. However, they still have to turn in the same amount of documents that are required because many of them are required through the Pennsylvania Department of Education or other related statutes that we have to adhere to for employment. And so there's a whole checklist of documents that an individual needs to turn in prior to working at Mill Creek Township School District, which Ian Roberts did turn in all of those documents. So I just run down the list in terms of what we need. We need a resume, 3 letters of reference, official transcripts, Pennsylvania certification, teacher service record that wouldn't apply in this case. Health form, child abuse clearances, PA criminal clearances, FBI criminal checks, Act 126 mandated child abuse reporting, 2 forms of ID, sexual misconduct disclosure, Act 82 arrest conviction report, I-9 ethnicity race questionnaire, anti-nepotism policy, confidentiality agreement, and then various forms for payroll. So there's a whole checklist of individuals and then a drug test as well as filling out a tech form. So all of that was adhered to by Ian Roberts prior to him starting on the position in August.
So in addition to what we hoped Ray and Associates was going to do, we do a whole bunch of different checks requirement by the state. And Attorney Herzing, there was no disqualifying events that were in that information.
That's correct.
In the information that was provided to us.
Correct.
That's in the information as it was provided to us. And those background checks for criminal purposes are run through the PA State Police, the Department of Human Services, and the FBI.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do know that, Ray and Associates, and if you go back to the minutes of when we had the board discussion about how we're going to pursue a new superintendent, there's much discussion. Some of the board members that were on the board at that point said, hey, let's do it ourselves. The discussion was to have PSBA, Pennsylvania School Board Association, come in to assist. And they did come in and did a presentation as well as the highly recommended Ray and Associates. They came in. There's much discussion that night and even to the discussion of, do we want to do it ourselves? Remember, that was during the COVID. It was very difficult to facilitate many things. How we're going to advertise, how we're going to get the pool of candidates. We want the best candidates. PSBA, they are very well known in the state. They do this a lot, but Ray and Associates. And there was a discussion of, do we do it ourselves? Do we do it with one of these agencies or firms as a consultant and we would be involved with that? Or do we send that to them as full vetting? And that was the vote. Now I know at that point to engage them full, so they would do everything. I know there's a lot of questions about what did the board do? No, we hired them to do everything, and they have a great reputation. And actually at the time, the president of the board, vetted their references, talked to 3 or 4 other school districts that have used them, and they all came back very highly recommended, very satisfied. So that's when the board decided to take that vote and to use Ray and Associates as full vetting for our candidates.
Dr. Jablonski, moving forward, are there things that we're going to do differently that we might be able to close gaps on some things?
Unfortunately, in this situation, everything that was provided to us was what we believed to be accurate. Then obviously the media reports and some things that have come out as fact, no entity has contacted us yet. I think in our letter, we said that we were going to turn over the documents to the authorities, which we will do. We haven't gotten any follow-up on that. But we verify everything in person. And if it was fraudulent or fabricated or counterfeit, we have no way of knowing that. One of the things that we will start to do is, we have what's called our I-9 forms that we have filled out, and we have them filled out and they're in person. In this case, they were not filled out in person because it was during COVID. So there was a special dispensation, if you will, by the Department of Human Services that allowed for that because nobody was meeting in person at that time. Could that have had something to do with it? I don't know. I don't want to speculate. According to media reports and what was released, that the individual did have work authorization when he did start here. So if we move to a system such as E-Verify, which is something that we are exploring now at this point, which I think would behoove of us to do, it still may not necessarily have been flagged because according to those reports, he did have work authorization at that time. However, we're confident in how we vet things. Unfortunately, this was an individual that took advantage of multiple systems, right? Multiple agencies, multiple organizations. Unfortunately, it wasn't unique to us here in Mill Creek Township School District, but now here we are, we have to feel the effects of that. So to your point, yes, there is a reflection on our current practices, as we move forward, but I feel like we are in a good position as we move forward. I think we were just unfortunately profoundly misled.
Mr. Dean, can I just clarify one thing that Dr. Jablonski said? There has been follow-up. We've reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and a meeting has been scheduled for this week to coordinate with them on the information that Ian Roberts provided the district, which we now believe to be false.
Thank you.
Yes, I would just like to clarify that because I know in the media and that they said, oh, we're going to cooperate with the investigation. No, we had reached out to them. We were proactive and said, let's set a meeting. Let's schedule this meeting to show you what we have to help identify what broke down, and let's hold those people accountable. So we reached out, last week, early on, Anybody else? Other discussion?
So before we move forward, I do want to clarify, I sort of blended items 3.01 and 3.02. We would be evaluating breach of contract and negligent misrepresentation claims against Ray and Associates. We would be evaluating the fraud claims against Ian Roberts.
Right. So this will come out of committee to move this to the board meeting to let our solicitors evaluate and to pursue the legal action against Ray and Associates. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll take the roll call with the personnel committee. Mr. Brink,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Mr. Kabelka.
Yes.
That passes. Okay, and that will be moved to the board meeting following this meeting. 3.02, legal action against Ian Roberts. Again, the committee will be in discussion after the motion to have our solicitors pursue legal action against Ian Roberts in relation to his fraudulent representation to the district during the application process and his employment. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Again, this will be going to the board meeting. Discussion.
So again, we would be looking at breach of contract claims. We did have a contract with Ian Roberts in which he represented himself as qualified and eligible to serve the district. In addition to that, we would be evaluating fraud claims and related tort claims related to his fraudulent representations with respect to his eligibility, his work authorization, et cetera.
Attorney Herzig, is it possible that we could go after Ms. Roberts' Peaser's retirement account?
Mr. Roberts was not eligible for full vesting in PSERS, so he no longer has it. My understanding, and I'm looking to Mr. O'Toole to confirm, that money would have been returned to him because he was not eligible for vesting by the time he left here. So there's no money left in the PSERS.
It's just 10 years, and he did not have the 10 years in Pennsylvania on the public school system. So he was not vested.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other discussion?
So as we follow the legal case with Ian Roberts, we'll make a determination as to whether we think we can retrieve any money. If he's deported permanently, we'll probably never be able to recoup any of that money. But if he is still here in the United States, there's probably a chance.
Yeah, that's something we would take into consideration before moving forward. Those are things that we would review with you as we gather more information.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the committee or solicitors? Okay, hearing none, let's take a roll call on, I'll take the roll call on the committee to move this to the board meeting. Mr. Brink,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Mr. Kabelka.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll move on. Okay, item number 4, questions from the public. Just as we mentioned earlier, if individuals have questions, they can come up to the podium and ask your question. If you have multiple questions, please come up, state your name. You can ask your question or questions, realizing you have 5 minutes. So if you have multiple questions, please ask them up front so we can answer them accordingly. Anybody from the public? Please state your name and ask your questions. And you have 5 minutes. So if you have multiple questions, please ask up front so we can afford you the most time to get responses. And again, the agenda item is, which agenda item you'd be asking about, 2.01 or 3.01 or 3.02.
Well, good evening, public, parents, taxpayers, students, board.
Do you have a question, Mr. Aliotta?
Yes, I do have a question. The question is, number one, why did you not have a question from the public on the agenda? Meaning that your presentation as board president statement was not published in the agenda. How can the public respond to your comments as a representative of the board when we didn't know what you were going to say? That's number one. Number two, who was or who were the individuals that were appointed to vet the superintendent? All right, Chris Busco, president of Quantum Plating. Meredith Bolheimer, an attorney, Mercyhurst University. John DePlacido, retired GE, former board president, but he was the board president at the time. Donnie Hosford, former vice president, and he was the vice president of his family company. Janine McClintock, attorney, associate in the McDonnell Illick law firm. John Pitzer, Donna Reese, Karen Monahan. The individual that was vetted or was on the board to vet the candidates was one other individual, is Morabito. And Mr. Morabito died December 20th, 2020. Now, I ask you, was there a special search committee for Roberts approved by a majority of the board? Was there a special search committee? Who was the chair and how was the chair selected and approved? Where are the public documents that will be presented during litigation? There will be discovery. There will be depositions. And my litigation team took the deposition of Mr. Roberts. And lo and behold, there's some surprises in there, but that'll come later. What happened to the minutes of the board for December 1st, 2020? It is not identified in board docs. There was no report that Tom Morabito died. Nothing in the minutes. Who is Mike Collins? You know, the director of human services was not here at that time. How can a present director of human services answer the questions that another individual had that responsibility, the duties, etc.? Where are the minutes of the November 23rd, 2020 board meeting? Was there any conspiracy to commit wire or mail fraud? Those are just some of the questions that I have. But sooner rather than later, I will be asking those questions. And I must say, and let me make a direct statement.
This isn't a statement time, Mr. Elliott.
Okay. Okay. I'll make that. Thank you.
Oh,
President Winchell, can we clarify?
okay,
Something.
let's listen to her answer first.
Okay. To respond to some of those statements, the minutes of public board meetings are all published on the website. I'm not aware of any problems with that. Mike Collins is a representative of Ray and Associates, the search firm that we discussed here this evening, for whom we are considering breach of contract claims against. Dr. Jablonski, the present Director of Human Resources, answered questions about what we now understand to have occurred based on the records that we have reviewed and the current processes in place.
Now, she's gonna say, you talked about Board Director Morabito. As you know, he passed away. We had a special appointment, and the purpose to appoint the new board members because of the passing of Tom Morabito. So that was very well known that he had passed, because we had to appoint a new board member. I think we did that the following month that he passed away. In fact, we have to appoint someone within 30 days, I believe. So that was very well known that Tom Morabito had passed away.
There was also a question about the agenda for this evening. This is a typical committee structure for the evening. The board president's statements were regarding the same topics that are on the agenda for this evening. And I believe that addresses the questions as I recall them.
I would like to address the question related to the search committee.
Sure, Ms. Finch, can you speak a little louder in your microphone,
Yeah.
please?
I would like to address the question about the search committee. You asked who was the chair of that committee. I was the chair of that committee. There were 3 members. I was appointed by the president at the time of the school board, and there was no individual appointed to vet anyone. What we did was contract with Ray and Associates, and they agreed to take on that responsibility.
And I'd like to say, Mr. Elliott, I believe your comments about who was on the board at the time are incorrect. you need to go back and take a look at the minutes to really see who was, you didn't mention Mrs. Winchell, and she just said she was the chairman of the search committee. So you have some inaccurate information as far as identifying those board members in public this evening.
So I was on the committee as well, and you didn't mention me, Mr. Aliotta. You did mention Donnie Hosford. He was not on the board. You mentioned Meredith Bullheimer. She was not on the board. And you mentioned Dr. Morahan, who I believe you called Monahan.
She was not on the board. Anyone else like to ask questions?
Keith Canfield. Regarding, is it 3.02? A few questions. Who was responsible
Thank you.
for making sure that the FBI clearance came through? I don't believe it was Ray and Associates' responsibility, seeing how they were not located in Pennsylvania. Did you ever truly get the FBI clearances that you hoped for regarding Dr. Roberts? If you would have seen the gun charge from 2020 before you hired him. Is that correct? Yes or no? How much money is this going to cost to try to shift the blame to Ray and Associates? It was your, and correct me if I'm wrong, yes or no, you had the final say on hiring Dr. Roberts, who was not a doctor. Did you also, yes or no, know that he didn't have a doctorate? You never did get clarification on that. You admitted that. And you continued to call him Dr. Roberts. So how much is that going to cost the taxpayers to try to sue Ray and Associates, the scapegoat for all of this? Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
The district is responsible for collecting clearances on all applicants for employment and all employees in the district. That includes the Pennsylvania State Police, the FBI, and the Pennsylvania Human Services checks that I indicated earlier. The district did receive the FBI clearance prior to Mr. Roberts starting. And although some people may still refer to him as Dr. Roberts, I will note that it appears he received a doctorate later. Again, I'm just indicating that that's not currently inaccurate. The district did receive the FBI clearances before he started. There were no convictions indicated on that FBI report for which the district could legally, lawfully consider.
Sir.
Do I have to come up and ask more questions?
You do not have to ask any more questions. The district has to comply, although you're welcome to, sir. The district complied with all applicable local and state law, which govern what can be considered for purposes of employment. I'm looking. And you asked, did the board have the final say? The board did have the final say. Do you want to address any of that? In terms of costs for litigation, that's something that will need to be evaluated as we identify the exact claims of action and the appropriate forum for those claims. And that's something that we will keep the board apprised of.
Because the motion is to give the solicitor to pursue them. So obviously they're going to get back to us. But as far as, the board voting, if you recall, while we're going through the interview process, that was through COVID. We had a number of town hall meetings to the public So there's a town hall meeting for the teachers. The teachers all had the opportunity. There was a town hall meeting for the administrators. There's a town hall meeting for the public, all vetted. They asked questions, and each time they came through with the recommendation of the Ray Associates overwhelmingly that Ian Roberts was a top candidate for the Mill Creek School District.
Mr. Canfield, I believe you also asked if the board knew in advance whether there was a question about his doctorate. And the answer to that is no. At the time that he was hired, there was no question, there was no reason to question whether he had a doctorate or not. There was not. We had employed a company whose job was to check the background and the claims on an application, and they gave no indication that there was a problem with it. Related to the voting, I was one of the people that voted at that meeting. You know, you can only vote based on the information that you have. It's just like when you go to the voting booths in May and November, you vote with the information that you have. The information that we had at the time indicated that, as Mr. Winchell said, there were many people that agreed that of the three candidates we had, he was by far the best candidate. In hindsight now, with new information, with the fact that some of the claims that we based our decision on were not true, perhaps that would be a different vote. But in 2020, the vote was based on the information we had.
Okay, so if we can move on, your 5 minutes is up, and we'll let other people have an opportunity for questions. Anyone else would like to ask questions? Yes, please come to the podium.
Please step to the podium.
Please step to the podium. Please.
Linda Duvelbein, and I just found all these stats just before I came to the meeting. In 2002 to 2007, Roberts claimed he was a Morgan State University pursuing a degree, and the Des Moines School District, they found a discrepancy in that, and they just overlooked it. They realized he did not have his doctorate, so they found it. I don't understand why you couldn't have found it.
Did the search firm find it, or did the district find it? Did the article say that?
Right, but I believe the articles I read said the search firm found that. Yeah. Yeah. But. Okay. It's not on the FBI.
That information came from ICE, as I understand it. Well, we relied on the FBI background check.
And just as a note, that article, the discovery of not the doctorate came from their search firm. And even after that, they hired him anyhow. So they did pursue hiring him. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Please come up, state your name.
My question is, I understand that we need to get to the bottom of this, find out where the missteps were, and so they don't happen again. But what is this going to cost us? I don't think it should be drawn out and have the taxpayers pay millions of dollars to find out. The people who did the missteps, they know they did the missteps. They know they didn't do their job, and they should come forward and apologize and get through this as quickly and as cheap as possible. Take care of the problem, but don't draw it out. That guy doesn't have any money. You know, you're not getting any money from Dr. Roberts. You might get some from that company. They're probably going to be shut down, and you're probably not going to get any money from them either. So the people who are going to get rich on this are the attorneys. So I would like to see it handled quickly and get to the bottom of it, you know, and do it right next time. You know, you didn't do your jobs, and now you know that you didn't do your jobs. And the people who were involved with it, if you were involved with it, you should step down from your job, because this was a huge,
Please, let the man finish.
huge, you know, in COVID,
Yes, please.
yeah, I asked what the dollar amount is that we're going to spend of the tax dollars to say it wasn't my fault. You know, that's what I want to know. What, you know, because and you can't say it's not your fault. It was your fault. You know, you build a house and you forget to put the basement in and the whole thing falls down. You know, you can't say, oh, it wasn't my fault. I called.
Any other questions?
I don't have any other questions. Thanks. But I think everybody should step down. That was a call.
Again, the motion is to have the law firm look in and pursue what legal action can take place. So we're not tonight voting to say, you know, file suit. We just need more information to authorize them to investigate it, to see what are the options, what are the costs, what are the returns. I mean, that's what tonight's about, giving people. Well, that's what we're asking to find out.
That you guys you washed your hands from this, that it was somebody else's fault. It was your fault.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And we heard your question about the legal costs, and we will keep the board, the district, fully apprised of next steps before we take any.
And one last, will you tell public what those costs are going to be before you spend them on?
Well, it's going to have to be voted on by the board to approve that. It will run through the committee just like this. People will be able to ask questions, and then it will go to the board for vote. And so there'll be comments, there'll be questions, the information will be there. Yes. Yes. It will be properly advertised. The topics, the agenda will be out. And, you know, one comment about the, if you build a house without the basement, sure, it's your fault, but hopefully you're going to hold that contractor responsible, right? No? Well, okay, let's move on. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Matt Saft. Saft means juice in German. So I do have a question for you folks. How is it that you didn't know anything about Ian Roberts prior to hiring him when you can clearly go to his Facebook page in 2020 and see all of the poisonous rhetoric that he posted? Okay. This is a cultural Marxist that was hired. All right. He sees everything through a prism of color. Okay. And you're bored. You hired this man. Okay. I don't see anything through color. Okay. There's good people and there's bad people. Okay. This guy's a user. You hired him to be responsible for our children. I have a question. The question is, how in the world you can go to his Facebook page and see everything you need to know about him in about 5 minutes? And you hired him, you know? I'd like to know who, like how, why would you people do that? Why? These are our children, okay? Our children are flesh and blood, okay? And you people put us, the taxpayers, that's besides the point. You put us through hell through 2020, 21, 22. You passed us off. You dismissive with all of us. And you hired this man. And again, I don't see color in people. That doesn't matter. Okay. This man judges everything through skin color. It is a poisonous belief. He is a cultural Marxist. And I cannot for the life of me, I just want to know, what makes you people think that that was a good idea?
Do you have any other questions
No, I'll have more. Thank you.
Again? You know, besides during that vetting process, when we had the interview, we had outside community members in there asking questions also.
Yeah.
So they asked the same questions.
You know, it's so simple. It's so simple to understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So simple.
Let us further answer your question.
The search firm also committed to providing or to vetting online resources, including social media.
Mhm. Mr. Aliota. Okay. 5 minutes left.
Let me refresh the board's memory. And
First of all, before
With-
Mr. Elliott speaks, would anyone else, because we're approaching the 30 minutes, anyone else would like to ask questions to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions? Mr. Elliott, if we can let Ms. Gilmore come up and ask her questions. You've already had 5 minutes. If there's time left, we'll give you an opportunity again.
okay,
Just want to give her an opportunity to ask questions.
yeah, that's fine. Coming up.
Attorney Herzing, can we go back to that previous one? Am I allowed to talk about I was on the committee, so I have the background investigation, the Google and the Yahoo. Can I read that? So from Ray and Associates, Google and Yahoo on 5/30. On LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, Google and internet checks found nothing negative or controversial to report this candidate.
Please let him answer.
On LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, Google and internet checks found nothing negative or controversial to report on this candidate. We paid this company to do this vetting. I didn't look on Facebook. If you look on Facebook, the name is backwards, right? It was backwards. I found it about 6 months later when you guys started bringing it up. We already hired him, by the way. His name was backwards on Facebook because you guys brought it up here at a meeting, and then I went to go look.
Do you just trust somebody that just posted some information online and you're buying a $500,000 home? You know?
I'm not gonna argue with you guys.
Okay. Ma'am?
Okay. Just time.
Kelly Gilmore. I just want to know, besides taking legal action, what other types of accountability are going to come to the school and to the school board, anybody who is involved in the hiring process? Like, what other things are we looking into besides legal action?
Well, like I said, we reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office to turn over all information that we have regarding this matter, and are hoping that they will take appropriate action based on that information. We are taking steps with the Human Resources Office to evaluate our current processes and make sure that those processes are appropriate, legally compliant, and capture the best information going forward. You heard Dr. Jablonski speak to evaluating the E-Verify system as an option for I-9s. Those are all processes that are being evaluated.
If we did, the board did decide to go, the legal route, are we going to use our solicitor, who was our legal opinion on hiring Dr. Roberts, to continue to do that? Like, I don't necessarily think that that's the best route to go. Is we had a legal opinion, And we're now going to use that same person and the same firm to now go after that. So that's really all I have.
I did not offer any legal opinion.
Neither did I.
Attorney Herzing is our solicitor going forward. Attorney Senate's retiring. Okay, at this point, is there any other speakers like to speak? Mr. Elliott, we got other speakers, but we're up on a 30-minute. We're on the 30-minute timeline. So to extend it, I'll need a motion by the board to extend that.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we extend.
The question
Should it be a
period.
time period, 15 minutes? or-
15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. How many other speakers besides Mr. Eliota? There's one. Any other ones? You already spoke also. So, I mean, well, we have 15 minutes. We can get them all, the four of you in 15 minutes, we'll do it. So can I have a second in 15 minutes? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. 15 minutes.
I basically just have two very simple questions. My name's Kimberly Hunter, okay? My first question is, I don't understand why the background checks and things that you have for such an important, prestigious position are the exact same ones you have for somebody who works in a public cafeteria. I think they should be a little bit more extensive. My second question is, I realize you guys hired this prestigious firm. They're not local. And even though you guys keep saying they did all this work for us, if each one of you had taken on just one responsibility and just checked on one check, this all could have been avoided. So, you know, we don't have to make it a big thing. Just, I think the public just wants to say, hey, we dropped the ball. We're sorry. And we're going to put these things in place so it doesn't happen again. And I would suggest hire local from now on, guys, please. And thank you.
I wanted to mention that the last superintendent opening we had, where we ultimately hired John Kavanaugh, was done through the Intermediate Unit 5 in Edinburgh. And I tend to agree with you personally, and I think we got much better service using the IU5. And I would hope that moving forward, when Dr. Kavanaugh retires, that we would consider to do that. So your advice is well taken.
So I would want to say that during that process of talking to different firms and then with Ray & Associates, they've had like 30 some applicants. Of some were local, some were internal, some were statewide. But I believe there's only one or two from Pennsylvania even made the final 10. So they were vetted. They did apply. They had their opportunity. They had their opportunity.
That is a huge resume. You're gonna stay. You're not gonna, these guys do it. A lot of these people, they come in.
Thank you, sir. You
Thank
can make a comment.
Okay,
in the
next.
So, well, wait,
individual-
we need to respond to the questions
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
were raised. With respect to the background checks, there are a number of laws in place that govern what background checks and what we can run on candidates. But I do hear your concern, and that's something we will evaluate. However, there are local and state laws which govern how far back we can evaluate criminal histories and what we can evaluate in terms of arrest versus convictions. That was your second question, and we hear you, and those are things that will be evaluated going forward.
You gotta do.
Sir, you got,
Can you
sir,
please state your name?
yeah, you got to come up to.
Are you a Mill Creek
Hey, so
resident?
you're a Mill
or
Creek
tax-
resident.
You're a resident?
Taxpayer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir? You want to come up, ask a question?
Are you a resident of the United States? No, not you, that gentleman.
Okay.
There's something to be said about that.
Hey, Mike, let's keep this on track so we can get all the speakers involved here. Okay, thank you.
Richard Mikitovich.
Thank you.
I jotted down some questions before I came here, and I can't speak too well other than what I have written down. So I do have some questions, but I'm looking at the money aspect of it. I'm looking at the taxpayer money aspect of it. A number of years ago, I applied for a job at Gulfport Memorial Hospital in Mississippi. The first thing they did was they wanted me to bring in a physical copy of my college degree. Did anybody look at a college degree, a piece of paper? Sometimes they're hanging on the walls of professionals. I've got one in my room. Did anybody look at that? Did anybody see it? A doctorate degree from Ian Roberts. Do I get an answer now, or do I have to
No,
wait?
why don't you
for
give
it?
us a list of your questions?
All right. Taxpayer money, because of inadequate, even slipshod vetting of Ian Roberts conducted by Ray and Associates. And I have to add the Mill Creek School Board. Never wanted to say that, but that's what it's looking like. You've put a financial burden on the taxpayers of Mill Creek Township, and I'm one of them. Other question?
Yeah, is there a question?
Maybe this has been answered maybe weeks ago or months ago. I'm not sure. This is my first time here. Did Ian Roberts' presence as superintendent have anything to do with the Mill Creek School Board unanimously approving giving $330,000 for complaints? What was that all about? $330,000 for personal complaints. Has that been handled in this room?
What? Any other?
All right. Was $18,000 plus given to Ray Charles Associates? I think we all know that. Ian Roberts was paid $180,000 a year. Almost 3 years of being employed, that comes to over $500,000. Was that given to him? Does he still have the money? If he does, we need to get it back. The buck stopped. It should stop with the Mill Creek School Board. It should stop with you. I moved here 12 years ago from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I've got some skin in the game. I have a 16-year-old son that goes to the intermediate. He went to Grandview. He went to Walnut Creek. I pay big taxes. But the money trail, $18,000 to Ray and Associates, $450,000 to Ian Roberts, and we still don't really know who he is. 3 lawsuits related to personal complaints during Roberts' tenure here resulted in $330,000 in taxpayer money being paid out. Was Roberts involved in those lawsuits?
Any other questions?
Yes.
Okay, so
Why was 250,
sir, your 5 minutes, we've got quite a few questions to answer, so.
one more?
One more.
Maybe it's been answered. Why was $250,000 of taxpayer money given to Melody Ellington? All right. Got to be better stewards of taxpayer money.
So first of all, on the settlements, there's non-disclosure. However, just to let you know, on the taxpayer, that was covered by insurance. So it wasn't taxpayers' dollars. Insurance covered that out. Everyone's been in negotiation with settlements. You know, you work with the attorney from the insurance company. They set the parameters. Those are covered by insurance payments.
We're not going to make any further. We would we would refer you to the settlement agreements in those cases, the documents themselves. Those are the only public comment we're going to make at this time.
Mr. O'Toole?
Yes.
By approximately how much, Mr. O'Toole?
I'm not prepared to answer that question. Although, I mean, the insurance industry overall has increased pretty drastically over the last several years. So I would have to go in and look at the premiums. Our insurance premiums were increased.
We'll answer the rest of the questions.
Was $18,000 plus given to Ray and Associates? Yes. Was Ian Roberts paid the salary that was noted in his contract? Yes. I can't answer if he still has that money, but that's what we're here tonight to discuss about trying to recover some of that money. I'm sorry. Was he paid the salary that is indicated in his contract? Yes. And I can't answer what he still has, but that's what we're here tonight to evaluate. Was the money paid to Ray and Associates? Yes. We would refer you to the settlement agreements. I apologize if you didn't hear that. Anyone, anything further?
Okay.
Did we have more or are we
We
out
only,
of time?
we only have about 3 minutes. So anyone else besides the people who've already spoken like to have any questions? Any other people like to ask questions?
Alyssa McCollum. So actually when Dr. Roberts, well, Mr. Roberts now was first hired, I was super excited seeing a Black man, especially because I was a Black woman, Black student going through the Mill Creek district, got to see some people who actually look like me and represent me. So I'm looking, because one thing that he preached a lot was empathy, but when we brought some of these concerns to some of you current sitting members on the board, with the backgrounds and the information that we had, we were brushed off. I remember especially because I was called a racist and I'm half Black. I'm like, that's absolutely crazy. A domestic terrorist also. So I'm looking just to have some empathy for some of you guys on the board, because I came into this meeting very, very hot. When we had that information presented to you guys in emails and stuff like that, and I've even emailed you guys, and my concerns actually made the front page of the newspaper twice. After we brought these concerns and information for you guys, I would just like to know, because I'm trying to humanize the board a little bit, if you guys actually considered anything that we said, or are you guys looking back at this and think that you guys were truly duped by this man? Or did some of you just turn the other way? That's the true question I have. If you guys were truly duped by this man, or if the other hiring consulting firm is truly to blame for what's going on right now.
Well, I know it listed that when this all happened, a lot of that was during COVID with the masks. No, just wait. I just want, you gonna let me talk or?
He's responding to the question. Please let him respond.
I mean, it's on the question and it was the mask. And you have to remember, there's a lot of people that came and were against the mask. But we were mandated by the county and by the state that wear the masks. Warren County didn't wear masks. They were fine. So but I'm just saying, so, as far as did we support him? We supported the county mandate, the state mandate. That's what we supported. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The board got brought into it because you guys signed and you finally fought with this man. So I'm just looking for I don't want to say accountability. I'm just looking for were you guys suckered by this man? That's all I really want to know. Consider firing him suckered when things were brought up. I'm just looking for where is the plan going? Is it more towards a hiring firm? Like, did you guys put your complete trust in them? That's what I'm trying to understand. Is how much say did you guys have in hiring him versus a consulting firm?
Yeah, I'll go on.
I believed him. I did believe him. You asked, were you duped by him? Yes, I was. I was duped by him. And my belief in him was reinforced by the company that we paid a good deal of money to. And so I went with what I believed was a good decision at the time. So the answer to your question is yes, I was. I can't speak for anyone else on the board, but yes.
Me, just especially knowing the research that I said, how did I talk to this man? This man calling me on the phone, telling me I'm going to jail. Or my son with it, that's quoted, but this man called me himself, my personal cell phone, to tell me I'm going to jail. So that's why I just wanted, that's why I'm looking for more personalization or as admitting that a mistake was made, more so than the guys. I'm just looking for some sort of understanding where was the mistake.
Melissa, I think that, as I said, I can't speak for anyone else on the board, but I have to say that after those public Zoom meetings, I don't know if public Zoom even makes sense to say, but the feedback received from all of those different groups, maybe other people aren't willing to admit that they were duped, but I'm telling you, we had a lot of people coming forward saying, wow, what a great candidate. We are lucky that he is interested in coming to this area.
Yeah, if you're, I'm sorry.
There are people that came out after he was hired and brought things up. But I have to tell you, there wasn't anyone that brought up concerns prior to his being hired. And that's when we made our decision. That's what we made our decision on.
I think it's obvious that you're all very upset, and we're all very upset too. There's a lot of stuff being written. Well, they didn't even vet him, didn't they? Look at that. And as Julia said, we did the FBI clearances, and there were no disclarifying informations in there. We paid the Ray and Associates. That was their job to do that. We have a contract. And as far as we're concerned right now, they did not do what they were supposed to do. Of course, we felt he had a doctorate. Of course, we did not know the background. I get that you're angry. Trust me, we're upset just as much, if not probably more than you are. We just found out when you did a week or two ago about all this background info.
Okay. Let's settle down. Okay.
So I want to respond to Mr. Canfield back here. He said, did you consider firing him? I'm not going to comment on that, but if you look at his evaluations, he had 3 years of evaluations, and he meets expectation. That is middle of the road. That's about a C. You look at Dr. Kavanaugh's results. He was outstanding for the last 2 years. So they give you a little indication of our evaluation of Ian Roberts.
Okay, so we're at the end of the additional 15 minutes. So it's 45 minutes. We have questions. Is there any other individuals Mr. Aliota, hold on. Any other individuals like to speak that hasn't spoken? No, we'll have to extend it another 15 minutes and that would be the final. That'd be, so first of all, I just want to give people the opportunity to see. Okay, so can I have a motion? Is there for the board to extend the speaking from additional 15 minutes?
Can we do 5 minutes like this?
Just to remind the board that you do have a public meeting coming up
Yes.
too, which allows
For comments,
members of the public
comments,
to
yeah.
Oh, okay.
provide public comment.
Comments, yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's another
yes.
opportunity tonight at the regular meeting.
I'm going to bring back a statement I made
Okay.
many moons ago. I just want to say this real quick, President Winchell. Ian Andre Roberts weaved a web of deception, and in the past I said use all drank the Kool-Aid, but in this case many people drank the Kool-Aid. So that's where we're at. He absolutely weaved a web of deception. Back then, Attorney Senate warned me that I could be sued for slander, and I said the truth is an absolute defense. So I'm going to sit here and tell you Ian Andre Roberts weaved a web of deception. Sue me.
I will say, we believed in him and he betrayed us. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It was our decision. It was our responsibility to approve.
Okay,
or not
hindsight is
approve.
2020, right? So did we trust them? Yes. Did we trust Rain Associate? Yes. And like Mr. Gabelka said, we were misled. We were betrayed, as many other people were. If you looked at those town hall meetings and they had that, many people, like Ms. Winchell said, came. And if you could see those town hall meetings, if you attended any of them back then, you'd see people were emotional. They were crying. They like, don't let this guy go. He's the best that's ever going to happen. He had accolades in Erie. Okay, so let's come back. Are we extending the public questions? Do we have a motion?
I would just like to know, are there questions or do they want to make comments? If you want to make comments, there will be time later to do
Yeah,
comments. Are
at
there
the
additional
public
questions?
meeting, right? So is there any additional? Well, we're out of time on that. I have to ask the board if they want to extend the public question period. Does anyone like to extend it?
Motion to extend.
Second.
How long?
5 minutes is fine.
5 minute extension. Okay, we have a motion for 5 minutes. Is there a second for 5 minutes?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Extended for 5 minutes. Mr. Kuzma. 5 minutes. Start the clock.
I just would like to know if the board is willing to offer an apology for being duped by this company, and that's all. We'd like an apology to say that we are sorry that it happened and we will do better next time. Are you willing to do that?
Let me think of how to say this. I am sorry that this happened. An apology, however, to me means an admission of guilt. And I'd like to know what it is that you think board members in 2020 were guilty of. I've heard several of you talk about things like if each of you had divided things up, you could have gotten that done. That is not the way a school board functions. There isn't anyone here that has HR training, and it is not our job to call universities. It is not our job to call prior employment. And you don't want board members involved in those management things. We have an HR department in our district, and we engage the services of a very reputable company to do those things. I believed everything that was reported to us, and I am sorry that I believed that, but I did. I put my faith in people all the time. And I have to tell you, this isn't the first time I've been disappointed when I put my faith in someone, and I doubt that it will be the last time that I'm disappointed. I am sorry for what people are going through. I don't know what you would have wanted us to do that was different.
Okay, Mr. Aliota. Mr. Aliota is next. Mr. Aliota, it's your turn. Let's go.
Speak into the microphone.
Okay. Okay, there's 2 minutes remaining, Mr. Canfield. 2 minutes. You're out of popcorn. Don't spill it.
Oh, geez. Is there any payment or any association with Mill Creek School District and a company called Lively Paradox? Also, you're telling us on record that the FBI clearance that you on record say that you received had no gun charges on it. From 2020, before he was hired, there was no gun charges whatsoever on the FBI clearance. Thirdly, when Dr. Roberts kept from you the fact that he had a citation written by the Pennsylvania Game Commission for a firearm, did you question his citizenship? Because non-citizens cannot carry firearms, and you would have questioned his citizenship and then immediately fired him, I would imagine. Would you have fired him knowing that he had a firearm and he is not a legal citizen and he had no work authorization after 2020? And did you know that too?
Mr. O'Toole.
Mr. O'Toole, yeah.
Mr. O'Toole, for the Paradox, which was Nicole Price, didn't she come in for an in-service presentation?
Correct. There was a payment just under $1,800 that related to the Meyer-Briggs personal testing. Outside of that, it was reimbursement for a flight and a hotel while we were here. No other additional payments were made.
Okay.
Correct. With respect to your question about the FBI background check, there was no conviction for a gun charge indicated.
No record of?
There was no record of a conviction or a gun charge. What we can legally consider as a conviction, and there was no record of a conviction. No.
The Pennsylvania Game Commission citation for the firearm.
Well, the only thing I don't understand, I'm a hunter. How did he get a valid PA hunting license with the Game Commission doing the venting saying he wasn't a citizen? Yeah.
So the answer is no.
You did not know.
No.
You never questioned.
About in response to a gun charge,
But his I-9 stated he verified and
Yeah.
swore that he was a citizen.
The
Social
I-9.
Security of the I-9, yeah.
Finding out that he's not a U.S. citizen and a gun charge and possession of guns, would you have fired him then? And what, and knowing that, I mean, you guys are smart people, right? You're a teacher. Non-U.S. citizens aren't to be in possession of firearms. That happened while he was here. I questioned his citizenship through an email, and he called me a racist. And so did you.
I called you a racist?
You
Attorney.
apologized for us questioning his citizenship after the gunshot.
Attorney Herzing, can I ask a question? Hypothetically, if somebody is showing a valid driver's license and a valid social security card, and said, I'm a U.S. citizen, can we legally go back and ask them, are you a citizen? You already clicked it. You showed me a driver's license. You showed me a valid social security card. Can I go back and say, are you really a citizen?
Would expose you to national origin discrimination claims.
Thank you.
Can we go back? I called you a racist?
When I questioned his citizenship through an email that I had record of, and he totally shut me down, calling me a racist. And during that, you apologized for him about us questioning him. You said, don't paraphrase, when you stated, it's on the board. You stated, we're sorry that you have to deal with this type of treatment in our community. We were parents just doing our due diligence. And you were all over him like he was the second coming. And we have a problem with your discretion, that's why we're upset, because we entrust you guys, and you can kick the can down the road to Ray Associates, I get it, but it comes to you to make the decision to hire this man. And while he's in your, while you're paying him, these things come up.
Okay,
sir, we're at
And
we're
there's
at
some
about an hour.
opportunity for public comment in the next meeting as well.
Yeah, we need to move on. Thank you. Thank you for all your questions.
President Winchell, can I say something real quick?
Last comment, Mr. Dean.
Before, I don't know if everybody's staying till the end of the meeting, but we seem to get a lot of attention, a lot of excitement when things go bad. I would challenge you folks to come here and celebrate with us when good things happen. Dr. John Kavanaugh here, a member of the community dedicated to Mill Creek Township School District. We're in a much different place right now than we were 2 years ago. So we're in a better place. We have students going to Harvard on full scholarships. We have students going to Cornell on scholarships and Dartmouth, and a student that got their AP research picked up by Harvard, and they're working together. We have students that have perfect fives on their research papers, one of 250 in the country. Come celebrate with us when those things happen.
Mr. Dean,
Don't.
I'm sorry. Just need to move on. And that's what I'm saying. We're going to have visitor comments before the board meeting, and the board will make remarks at that point. Can you save those? Valid point, though. Hopefully, everyone stays for that part of the meeting. I know many times people speak and leave, but please stay for the entire meeting so you can hear all the speakers. Thank you. Moving on to item 5.01, adjournment of the Personnel Policy Committee. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion passes. Okay, now we're going to move on to the special board meeting. Can I have a roll call, Ms. O'Connor, for the entire board?
Okay. Mr. Brink,
Here.
Mr. Dean,
Here.
Ms. Philbeck,
Here.
Mr. Kobilka,
Here.
Mr. Lindner, Ms. Newsham,
Here.
Ms. Pasquale,
Here.
Mr. Winchell, Mr. Winchell,
Yes, here.
Ms. Winchell,
Here.
Dr. Kavanaugh, Attorney Senate,
Here.
Attorney Herzing.
Here.
1.02, executive session announcement. An executive session was held on Wednesday, October 1st at noon, 12 p.m., and on Monday, October 6th at 5 p.m. to review and discuss agency business, which, if conducted in public, would violate a law privilege or lead to a disclosure of information or confidentiality protected by law, including matters related to the initiation and conduct of investigations of possible or certain violations of the law and quasi-judicial deliberations. 1.03, approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion passed. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. 1.05, Board President's statement. Just for the record, we felt that perhaps some people may be tuning into the board meeting, not the personnel meeting. So for the record, I would like to have the comments that I read through personnel be included in the minutes of the board meeting. I'm not going to go through and read that again, but they will be in the minutes of the board meeting. Thank you. Okay, moving on to visitors. Visitors' comments. We provide the opportunity for Mill Creek Township residents and taxpayers to address the board for up to 3 minutes to make comments concerning any item that is in front of the board for action this evening or for our upcoming board meeting. The visitor comments section is limited to 30 minutes. However, the board may vote to extend that time period if deemed appropriate. Details can be found on the MTSD website with each meeting announcement. The same speaking protocols apply to all individuals who wish to address the board. If you'd like to address the board this evening, please complete the form provided at the entrance to the room, entrance to this room at this time, including your name, address, and topic, and then submit the form to the board secretary. Once called upon, the speakers will then be asked to state their name and topic before speaking. As guests of the board, you are encouraged to speak about the matters related to the programs, services, and operations of the Mill Creek Township School District. Please remember, we are prohibited from discussing specific employees, job performance, or pending litigation. As a reminder to the board and to the public, the board will not engage in discussion with public speakers during the monthly board meetings. It is our obligation to discuss with the entire board only the matters posted in the public agenda for the sake of transparency. Any other matters requiring attention will receive the appropriate administrative follow-up at a time following the meeting. We ask all speakers to avoid references to personalities or individual character attacks, as those type of comments do not contribute to the purpose of which this type of public forum exists. Thank you. First, the speaker this evening is Mr. Aliota. Topics: violation of laws by school board directors of U.S. and PA constitutional civil rights of freedom of speech by November 2017 to the present time. Violations of the school board director's sworn oath of office. Violation of taxpayer funds by approval actions of the school board directors at the direction of the 1984 appointment, continuous appointment of Solicitor Tim Sennett, shareholder of Knox Law Firm, and violations of law of specific school board directors in their elected and appointed position as school board directors in the execution of the director's duties, responsibilities, accountabilities of public office and the public school code. Mr. Aliota, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Well, taxpayers, parents, board, public officials, let me start from the end first. Thank you for the opportunity to exercise my freedom of speech and your freedom of speech. I've always stated intermittently, stay tuned, more to come. Do you have any idea what I was saying? What happened in the past week or two? I think everyone knows it only takes a phone call. It happens in Erie, PA. It happens in Brooklyn, New York. It happens in Miami, Florida. You make a phone call and you get action. Simple as that. What will happen in the next month? board directors. I'm going to revise my presentation. Because what I heard tonight is dangerous. And yes, you were right, Mr. Winchell. I stated that the individuals that I stated were part of the board was in November 2017 when they determined that they were going to sue me, countersue me for defamation. Did the school board directors ask the uncomfortable questions, is this legal? It took me $475,000 since 2015 to basically defend myself. Whereas Judge Brabender identified that the board at that time with those individuals violated my U.S. constitutional civil rights of freedom of speech. Now you tell me, what does a public official do? The duties, responsibilities, and the accountability. What does the solicitor, with the present solicitor excused? Julia, Attorney Julia Herzing, you are not part of the 2017 counterclaim lawsuit against me that I had to spend $475,000. Board directors. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Board directors.
Mr. Alioto, your 3 minutes are up.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you in court.
Okay, the next speaker is Wes Palmer. Comments regarding our student come first. Their interests should always come first. That's your topic. Thank you.
Members of
three-
the board, public, parents, visitors, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My comment is specifically regarding students first, always student first. I've had the privilege of having 2 children go through this wonderful, wonderful district. Very proud to say that. Our students' interests, their care, their success should always come first. Retrospectively, and just rhetorical questions is, what have you learned from this? Collectively, as a board and individually, each one of you have to sit there with responsibility and take this and answer those questions as you look in the mirror, because our students come first. Directly above me is part of the mission statement that you guys are probably well aware of. Prepare students to reach their full potential as lifelong learners and responsible citizens. Every action you take out of this situation will truly validate your belief in that mission statement. Not just litigation. It's easy to point the fingers and to go through litigation. Take responsibility and be accountable. The ultimate responsibility lies with you, not Ray and Associates, not any other association that you guys are trying to be a scapegoat. It ultimately resides with you. The people, the taxpayers, and the voters are listening and watching. So going forward, every single decision, not just on this thing, but every single decision you guys are going to be making going forward, you must take our students first, take our community into consideration first, and not just check a box on a particular hire. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker is Mr. Canfield. Topic, no to the lawsuit. You have 3 minutes, Mr. Canfield, once you hit the podium.
Good evening. It's a very interesting night tonight. So, oh, what a tangle web we weave when first we practice to deceive. My first thoughts after reading that second ridiculous public statement was that it undermines the very foundation of integrity, and that you are not upholding any integrity, and you're not a good model for the students, family, or community by not accepting the responsibility. You really should have stuck with the first statement that you released. But it was obvious that when you realized how bad of a situation this was, that you needed to look for somebody else to pass the buck to. You passed over 2 local candidates. You paid $20,000 to somebody you didn't know to find somebody you didn't know. You divided this district throughout COVID when parents like me and them were holding your feet to the fire, time and time again, showing you the data. And it showed that masking was doing more harm to the children than good. When we called you out on the game commission incident, we leaked it to the press with the incident with not a Dr. Roberts. He didn't even tell you. We are the ones that leaked it to the press. We were scoffed at when we questioned him about this. You guys apologized to him for us. Anyways, I'm going to ask a few things. Number one is a formal public apology to Mill Creek Township and its residents for the shade-laden hiring of Ian Roberts. It'll actually cost you $0 to do that. Secondly, I didn't know you were retiring, but anyways, you fire him immediately. It is of my opinion and the opinion of many others that he owes us back hundreds of thousands of dollars that was milked out of this district from being fooled by Roberts and Melody Arrington. You know damn well that they split that $250,000. That money could have gone to the students or not spent at all. Thirdly, Gary Winchell and the other remaining school board members that were involved in this negligent hiring, it's time for you to resign. Exit stage left, please. Number 4, you vote to not spend another damn dime of taxpayer money suing Ray and Associates so you don't have to be held accountable for the decision of hiring that con man. Cut your losses and move on. I believe that if these requests are not met, payment is going to be due for the biggest I told you so in Erie County history. Mr. Dean, I will take you up on that offer to come here when things are good. That's a good idea. God bless. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Have a good night.
Mr. Canfield, the other 2 candidates were Chris Marzak, Dr. Chris Marzak, he was from Tennessee, and Rosalie Daca was from Wisconsin. So those 2 were not local candidates.
Okay, the next speaker, moving on, Kelly Gilmore, legal action against Roberts per topic. Kelly, you have 3 minutes.
All right, so I want to take a little bit from the playbook of Alyssa just to kind of humanize myself a little bit. I have been a tax-paying person in the Mill Creek Township School District for about 18 years. My kids are in 9th and 11th grade at MIHS and at the high school. I love this school district. I actually just bought a new house and we moved and we stayed in Mill Creek School District because that's how much I actually do love this school district. And that's why me and my fellow friends and parents here fought so hard during COVID, was because we were so torn by what was happening to our schools, to our kids, to our teachers, to everybody that was around. I mean, a lot of the things that happened in the last few years, I forgot until the last 10 days or so. And I'm like, honestly, like, I was like, I must have been traumatized. I think we were all a little bit traumatized by what happened during COVID to everybody. I pulled my kids from the school district during that time. I pulled my son for 2 years. I pulled my daughter for a year. I mean, the things that I want you guys to understand the things that we went through too with our kids. Like, I did not want to pull my children from this school district. I did bring them back again because I love this school district. I didn't bring my son back until after Ian Roberts left the school district. My daughter was back before that. But I just want you guys to understand, like, we want to work with you. We want to understand. I just don't think you guys quite understand what we all went through those 3 years while he was here. It was, I mean, we came to every board meeting. We laid our hearts and our, our tears out here. And I want nothing more than to come here and to celebrate, like Mr. Dean said. I do celebrate the school district. I'm pretty involved. My daughter's on varsity cheer. I think as a community member, I just want to shut up and not be up here talking more than anything. And I want to celebrate the school district. I think Dr. Kavanaugh is doing a great job. I think, from reading everything that's happened on social media in the last 10 days, 12 days, whatever it was, the biggest thing that we would want as community members is, an apology, a little bit of accountability, more than anything, trying to get back the money that we spent on a fake person. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Next speaker is Linda Dulabon. Ian Roberts is the topic. You have 3 minutes, Linda.
Well, where to start? The incompetence of the Mill Creek School Board is on display, not just for the taxpayers, but for the whole country to see. It's easy to blame the search firm of Ray and Associates, but not one of you made a phone call to check on any of Ian Roberts' credentials. It can't be too hard. Every news outlet in the country, and here are just a few that I personally saw: the Blaze News, every host on Fox, the New York Post, and other news outlets. The reporters for those outlets didn't hire a company to investigate Roberts. They did it themselves. How did you miss his gun violation from 2020? He was here working. How not one member questioned anything, and remember, you voted 9-0 to hire him, is beyond me. When his performance was questionable, you kept him on. And when he left, you all acted like you were losing your best friend. Shame on all of you. You paid out almost $500,000 of hard-earned taxpayers' money to stave off lawsuits. I'm angry because our school taxes have increased over 300% since we built our home. We haven't had a student in the district since our last son graduated in 2003. I don't trust you with the tax money. I think most of you would say, I think a lot of people would say that they have lost confidence in this inept board. The 4 of you, Gary and Shirley Winchell, Michael Lidner, and Jason Dean, should resign immediately. Your judgment leading our district is damaged. Not one of you questioned or made a phone call on your own. Shame on all of you.
Any other speakers like to speak? Any other speakers like to speak? Last call. Any other speakers like to speak? Okay, hearing none, we move on. Thank you for all the speakers. 3.01 is came out of committee this evening. Legal action against Ray and Associates. Board directs its solicitor pursue legal action against Ray and Associates in relation to the services under the agreement for superintendent search services the Mill Creek School entered into or on about March 3rd. So a yes vote will be to direct our solicitors to pursue legal action. So can I get a motion on that? We can have discussion. You can have a motion.
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, discussion.
Mr. President, where I do agree that we don't need to expend tens of thousands of dollars going after Ray and Associates, I think we can't let them slide either. I think we need to get after them and ruin their reputation and hold them as accountable. They're not the only ones responsible, but they are the ones that were paid to be doing the job, and they failed miserably. So I can't agree with you when you say don't sue them, because I absolutely believe we need to sue them for nothing else from the principle of it, because they took our hard-earned money and they failed miserably.
Okay, any other comments?
So President,
Discussion?
as we discussed in committee meeting, we'll get an estimate as to how much it's going to cost from the Knox firm
Correct.
before we go forward with that, and we will share that.
Yeah, so I guess I'll ask Attorney Herzing, what's your process in this pursuing legal action?
So we would evaluate next steps. We have sent a litigation hold letter to Ray and Associates to make sure that no evidence related to this matter is destroyed. We will come back to you with a draft of what we anticipate going forward with. And then we will discuss anticipated costs and other potential options at that point.
And what kind of time frame do you think that would be, Attorney? By the board meeting next month, by the end of the month? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we are directed to consider options, we would endeavor to have a report to you as soon as possible by the, we will certainly at least have an update for you by the next meeting.
Thank you.
I agree that I do think we need to follow up with legal action, but we do need to look at what's going to be involved before we do that. And as far as with Ian Roberts.
Well, that's the next item.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I also agree that we need to investigate this. This is so egregious that we can't allow someone to just take taxpayer money, not do a job, and then ignore it. It has to be investigated.
Mr. Canfield, please, they're speaking. We didn't interrupt when you were speaking. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Support an investigation.
What's that?
I support an investigation as to what would be involved.
Any other discussion or comments?
I
Have
would
a roll
agree.
call vote, please.
Mr. Brink,
Yes.
Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Winchell.
No, I was just going to say, we paid them a lot of money to do a job, and I think at the very least, we deserve to have that money back.
Yeah.
They didn't do the job.
And again, we hired them and approved them 9-0 to do the full service, not to have us involved, but to have them the full service. And that passed 9-0. That was discussed at that committee and board meeting. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Brink,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Ms. Philbeck,
Yes.
Mr. Kobilka,
Yes.
Mr. Lindner, Ms. Newsham,
Yes.
Ms. Pasquale,
Yes.
Mr. Winchell,
Yes,
Mrs. Winchell.
Yes.
motion passes. 3.02, legal action against Ian Roberts. This is, read the motion, redirect our solicitors to pursue legal action against Ian Roberts in relation to his fraudulent representations of the district during the application process and beyond. Yes vote would to direct the law firm to do that. So if I can get a motion second, we can have a similar discussion. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I have mixed feelings about this. I want him to be accountable for the betrayal that he imposed upon us. But are we going to be spending a lot of money and not getting anything? There's a part of me that thinks that somehow he is going to end up getting out of this and being a, what was that movie, Catch Me If You Can Part 2, and he'll make money on it somehow. I don't want to close that door of getting money from him, but I don't know that we even have a chance to do that.
While I too question the possibility of return, I think the important thing to do is to be proactive as we have with the Department of Justice. Give them all the information, make sure that they have more resources than we do to hold them accountable, but at the same time, we need to know what our options are.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Again, we need to look into what it's going to cost, and if he ends up being deported, which is what it could possibly happen, there's no reason to go through with that.
I personally hope that Mr. Roberts is incarcerated for a pretty long period by the United States judicial system before they put him on a plane and ship his ass back to wherever he's going. Thank you.
Any other comments, discussion? Yeah, I think this will be very similar to the previous one. So if you can report back with the estimated costs and what are the opportunities for return?
Yeah, I will endeavor to get you a full report of options and, potential cost benefit analysis, right?
Anyone else? Hey, hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Ms. Philbeck,
Yes.
Mr. Kobilka,
Yes.
Mr. Lindner,
Yes.
Ms. Newsham,
Yes.
Ms. Pasquale,
Yes.
Mr. Winchell,
Yes.
Ms. Winchell,
Yes.
Mr. Brink.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item 4, old business, any old business. Item 5, new business, any new business. 6, school board remarks. So here's the opportunity for the school board to make remarks. Mr. Dean, I know I interrupted you, so we'll give you first opportunity.
President Winchell, you so appropriately interrupted me. I just wanted to make sure that I had an audience. Some people kind of leave after the committee meeting, but we have great things going on here right now. Dr. Kavanaugh is doing a great job going into his 3rd year. We have great programs. We had great teachers. We have great administrators. Come back and see us. Don't wait until something goes wrong because it will. We make a lot of decisions every single meeting. And we've done $150 million of renovations over the last 6 years, and it has gone great. Our schools are better. Our infrastructure is better. Lots of good things. Come back and celebrate with us, please. Thank you, President Winchell.
Yes.
If you'd like to reach out, I'm sure that the high school could arrange that, or I would personally give you a tour if you'd like to see it.
I'd like to personally thank you for not being keyboard warriors, but actually attending in person and taking your time to be here, because it speaks volumes when you come here. Like, real easy to be sitting behind a keyboard and have an alias and start, throwing stuff out. But, it's appreciated, and, your opinion counts in my opinion. So thank you for being here tonight.
The school district. That's why we were just so deeply hurt and just very upset. This process, it may have only started for you folks 2 weeks ago, but this has been going on with us since 2020 and yeah. And, love our children. It shows, everybody, I know you guys do too. But when it came push to shove in 2020, it was very hard for us to let go of everything that was going on. I had to speak our minds.
I know, and I recognize that, but I do want to keep us on task, but I do recognize that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Ian Roberts used the term, the right seats on the bus. And let me tell you, John Kavanaugh is the bus driver. And if you've ever been at Lake Erie Speedway and they do the figure eights, he's kicking ass and taking names as he's driving the bus. And all the seats are filled. So we're where we need to be now. Were we in the past? Maybe not so much, but we really are running on all 8 cylinders now. And I firmly believe that, because I speak my mind, but I think we're where we need to be.
I think that, when things happen a lot, it's a big district, things are going on all the time. When something doesn't go the way we think it is, we all self-reflect. We take issue with that. We take that personally, we do reflect that. So, and this is something that we'll learn from. You heard Dr. Yablonsky talk about how we can improve things. We got the Department of Justice there. Hey, here, let's meet, let's talk about it. Did we do everything right? So we do self-reflect. We do take this. I know you're smiling, Mr. Elliott, but we really do. We really do. We all take this personal. This is a a tough job. We all run for it. You know, it's volunteer. We put a lot of time in over the last few weeks, but we gladly do it for the kids. We do it for the kids. It's obviously we don't get paid. We don't have a pension. Everyone says, oh, hope they lose their pension, hope they fired, hope they lose their job. No, it's a volunteer position. And again, going back, that's why we rely on outside sources to help us navigate these tough decisions. And do we get everything 100% right? No, but we do self-reflect on that, and we do try to make it better going forward.
I just want to make sure the record accurately reflects. We've reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office, scheduled a meeting to go over the documentation with them. I just know a lot of people are listening, so I want to make clear who we've reached out to and where we are in that process.
And again, a week ago Friday, we sent out, we sent out a statement on Friday, we sent out a statement on Monday, sent out a statement on Wednesday. They reached out on Wednesday to the Department of Justice. So it's been 10 days, but the action in it, conversations were a lot compressed, even more so than that,
Just adding on to that, not only thank you for coming, but thank you for being so respectful in the way that you presented your thoughts. Thank you.
Like the popcorn. Any other comments?
Next time, bring enough to share.
Dr. Kavanaugh.
Thank you. I just wanted a couple of concluding remarks. First of all, ultimately at this point, I can't change what happened, or I would. But I can assure you that I will do everything in my power to make sure that we continue to do what we need to do. And I think you mentioned that's focused on our students. I love this district. I've been with this district since 1999, probably as long as most people in this room. Okay, 2 of my sons are proud graduates of McDowell, very successful. So I want to make sure that the focus is going to remain. I tried to put that out on Friday. I don't know if you had a chance to read my message that went out to the public and to the parents and to our teachers. The focus is the focus, and that's our kids and what's going on in our buildings. And I want to share a couple what I think are very important things that are going on this week. So first of all, today we had a donation from LECOM and AED grants where we added 10 AED machines to different buildings. We've had them in all of our buildings. We added additional ones because we wanted to make sure we had more safety for our students in our community who are visiting our buildings. And that's thank you to LECOM and Chris Huber at MEF that made this a possibility. So thank you to them. I want to invite all of our senior students to make sure that you attend, and even our junior students and some sophomores, college night, Thursday night, 6 o'clock at the high school. So if you're planning on attending college and you're in high school, please consider attending. I want to give a shout out to 2 of our teachers who are Golden Apple Awards winners. Am I allowed to say the names at this point? Okay, I didn't think so, so I'm glad I asked. I know who they are, and they're going to be on the air soon, but we have 2 of our teachers, one from Bell Valley, one from McDowell High School, who recently earned the Golden Apple Award. And then for our student this time, I want to recognize, and I mentioned his name at our last board meeting, but I'm going to say him again. I don't know if you know Brody Bonsu, who's one of our seniors. He's our running back on the football team. Brody, 2 meetings ago, I mentioned broke an all-time record of 7 touchdowns in a game. Last game out against Prep, and congratulations to them for beating up on Prep, he scored 6 more touchdowns. And if you read what Tom Reisweber put out today, he's the only running back to ever score that many touchdowns against Prep, and only the 3rd running back in the history of Prep to go for over 300 yards. And the one thing I love about Brody, if you listen to him talk after the game, he gave all the credit to the coaches in his line. So that just tells you what a wonderful young man he is. So those are my comments for this evening. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Thank you. Superintendent. 7.01 adjournment. There would be an executive session for purposes of negotiations immediately following adjournment of this meeting. The next regularly scheduled meetings of the Mill Creek Township Board of School Directors will be held Monday, October 13th, 2025. The committee meetings begin at 6 p.m. There are 3 committee meetings held, one right after another: Instruction and Student Services Committee, Personnel and Policy Committee, Finance and Operations Committee, Committee of the Whole as needed. The Committee of the Whole meeting will typically begin immediately following the last committee meeting for the evening. So with that,
Can I apologize? I want to make one more statement before we adjourn, because ultimately I want to make sure the credit is where credit's due. I get some of the credit for what goes on here, and I appreciate that. But in the end, the people sitting over there, that's part of our leadership team. They're all new to the positions from when I came on board, and I want to make sure that everybody recognizes them too, because we wouldn't be in the spot we were just because of me. It has to do with them. It has to do with the wonderful students that we have, the excellent teachers that we have, and the solid community that we have. So that's why we're successful in what we do. So I want to make sure I said that.
Thank you. So again, the board will be meeting in the conference room executive session. 7.01 adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Never heard any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay? We're adjourned.